Hmm. Hey, Simon.
Good morning.
I haven't seen your face for forever. How's your new assignment going?
It, well, not much going on there.
Oh, bummer.
No, it's progressing, it's continuing, but the meeting are all overlapping with the Keptn meeting, so that's why I'm never here anymore, actually. And last week I lost 3 kilos in 3 days, so
3 kilos of what?
of body weight.
Oh my God, how'd you
We
do
had a
that?
we had a really nasty stomach infection. Also, the children lost 2 to 3 kilos in a few days.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So last week I was just out sick. No.
Oh, fair. Hey, Adam. Well, the gang's all here, except for any community members.
Hello, Adam.
How's it going?
Good.
Well, I suppose we should do what we can. Oopsie, and where is, no, I just lost it. I thought I had this all set up here. There we go. Yeah. I didn't know who was coming, so I didn't even write up an agenda. But um oh, we have open PR. Somebody added those. Anybody know? Was anybody here? So maybe somebody's coming.
Yash edit those. So
All right. Oh, good. Is Josh gonna come? Ah, there's Yash. Hey, Yash.
Hello, Meg. Hello,
How
Simon.
how are you?
I'm fine. What about you, ma'am?
Ah, very well. I see you don't have permissions on this deck. Um, me. Yeah, why? And I can't. I'll give you permissions after this meeting.
Sure.
Um, but let's see. And you know everybody here, I guess. Oh shoot, I skipped doing that. Okay, let's check out. Are these your PRs?
These are all the PR regarding the contributing guide.
Okay, we should get this going. I apologize. I keep being distracted. Where have we got? Okay, Adam's reviewed. Good for Adam. Okay. Um, okay. Building the dock. Okay, good, good. That looks good. We should get, I think we should get this merged. We need to probably need to add some hints and stuff, maybe to make life easier, right? But we could merge what we've got, right?
Hmm.
As everybody agrees, Simon and I should probably take a quick review of that. Um, okay. Let's see, number 2. Nicely done. And okay. And Adam, you've looked at this one too. These are looking, thanks Adam for getting in there. And bad me on this, but these like this. Apologize.
Keep dropping out there. Sorry.
Oh, I'm dropping out?
Yeah.
Okay. Huh. Oi, technology. Simon, what's your day like? What I'm finding is that we have to like to approve fast to get nobody to be able to merge these things. Are you?
Oh, sorry, what?
Oh, what's your day like today in the next few hours?
I'm leaving the office in half an hour. I'll bring the kids to kindergarten. Afterwards, I go to the massagist, and I will be back at 12-ish, so in 5 to 6 hours.
Uh-huh. Okay. That works actually. I was gonna propose. I'd like to get these things merged. I've been bad.
Yeah, if you need a review from myself, just simply tag me. I get a little bit overwhelmed with all the notification currently I get since I'm an approver.
I know that's happening to me too. That's why I said, Yash, if we ignore you, it's because we're getting buried and feel free to ping us because
I'm starting to find a way of how to see which I should really take a look at. And I think I will start only looking at pull requests where I'm really dedicatedly mentioned, because I do not have that much time left to review all kind of pull requests I'm now assigned to. Because as soon as some documentation is changed, I'm getting assigned with this documentation approvers, and it's quite a lot. It makes
Right.
some sense, but it's quite a lot to keep up and take a look at it. And I do not see what is really important and what is really where should I focus my limited time on.
Okay. What I'm gonna report Yash, he's really been through it, get some PRs done, right? And it's almost your bedtime, right? It's late for you.
No, it's morning. Oh yeah.
For Yash, for Adam though. Oh God, I had a bunch of PRs that needed merging. It's like one person would approve and then another person would go on and want an extra period and put that in, and that would then cancel the approval. So I think okay, Adam's already looked at these and says they're good. They're ready to go with you, right, Adam? But let me give them a quick read so that I'm ready for that. And
Sorry, I was on mute.
you read, then and then you can approve and I will approve and we'll merge. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if there's a way to better highlight things that are stuck for a while in this sort of state that the work is there, it just needs a review. Maybe we can create a dashboard or so, something that just says, come on, this is still just stuck. Because I don't know. I'm getting buried under notifications as well. I mean, I wake up every day and there's at least 100 emails because as soon as you're part of the maintainer group, you just get pinged for everything. So please, it really isn't that we're ignoring you. It's just it's getting lost in the noise.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, Simon, so you said you'd be back around noon your time?
Yes, but I'm today pretty blocked with a lot of meetings. So
Okay. When might you have, well, you need a chance to read through them, and then we just sometime need to both get on together and both go approve, and merge and approve, and merge.
well,
So when's a good time for you to do that?
I will take a look. I will see. As I cannot promise anything because between child duties, appointments, and a meeting with and an afternoon with 5 hours meeting straight, I
Oi,
need to take a look when I have the possibility to do this. So, but I will ping you. I will send myself a reminder.
yes. Okay, ping me. We'll keep, and if not today, maybe we can do them tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, does that work? Okay.
Tomorrow will definitely work. Tomorrow I have no appointments or anything on my.
Okay, cool. Um, okay, what else? So actually let's um
I've got a quick question
uh-huh.
for maybe for Simon, because I know Simon, you set this up originally. The Markdown link checker, the Markdown linting. For example, I'm looking at a PR now and it's failed. What I'm struggling with is just at a glance, because what it does is it prints out all of the links and all of the ones that were valid as well. So I'm really struggling to see which. I've just seen it there, line 745. I wonder if there's a way we can just adjust the setting just to print out the ones that failed, so it's a little bit quicker to find.
Yeah, that would be a good idea actually. I despise Markdown link check because of its how it's working and its usability. Let's say that way. It would be cool to have this more like a Markdown lint rule more likely than a Markdown link checker, because I think the feedback you're getting on where is the error happening and things like that are really, really, really bad. You
Yes.
also have to look for the links. You do not see the line or things like that where it is happening. I always thought about writing an own rule for Markdown link, a Markdown lint to also link check and use the library from Markdown lint for that, but I did not have the time so far.
Uh,
The thing I do is I go into the action actually and search for error. So when you search through the console and look for error, you can easily find the document where the error is mentioned.
not always. I tried that and error and dead link sometimes, but sometimes the search works, most of the time it doesn't.
Yeah,
Have
you do not use the browsers, so you do not use the browser search. You need to use the log search functionality. That's also the strange part.
Uh,
So, I also posted a link into the chat. I wanted to post a link into the chat. This is something. There is this review requested by me functionality from GitHub, which you can take a look at. There you see the pull request where you actually request where you or your team is requested to do a review, which reduces the noise actually a lot, which is a pretty nice overview. And yeah, I can shortly show this. This when Adam, do you have a pull request number?
I think it was 1411.
1411. Yeah, okay.
sharing, so you share.
1411. So okay. I know it's so we have down this markdown link check with which is failing. And most people look for error. They use the browser and type in here error, which is with the browser search, which is not working. But you have the search log on the top right. And when you put in here error, it normally automatically to this error field. That's a little bit sad that GitHub is not using the same functionality. But here you see as soon, okay.
Yeah.
Is a directory? Please provide a file name as an argument. Okay. There's a directory with an .md in its name, so that it cannot search for that. It seems like, and the second error is that this link is dead. Okay, no. But this is. Yeah, I always also struggled when using the browser search. It seems like it does not have the full content available, and the log search is actually providing those. No. But I agree, it's really not ideal. It's really hard to find those errors.
I think with those little tips that it'll at least be a lot quicker. Perfect. Really good.
Yeah. Okay. What do we get in chat here? Okay. Cool. Let me go back. If nobody else has any other thing, I would like to briefly Has everybody seen, there's some big docs changes that are coming. They're not published. And you may have noticed though the landing page has changed. And if I go into releases development, I can see what is waiting. The two big things is, first of all, we do now have these getting started guides. We have an intro and we have one getting started with Keptn metrics, observability data and release cycle. They're a start. We'll see. I'm not, some days I look at them and I like them and some days I don't. The other big thing that we finally have a lot of used to be hidden in concepts and tasks. They've been, what to me is cleaned up a little bit. And we are going to have a discussion as to whether anybody else likes this arrangement. But we actually have reference pages for the resources that we're using. We have a synopsis, a description of the fields, some usage notes, some examples, files. What I need to do, and I've got one out there because it would be a good first issue for somebody, is to have links, because one of the questions we have is that we have the AP and the people, for people who really know what they're doing, that this makes more sense. To me, I'm fine. I'm starting to figure it out, but I think it's hard to follow. I would hate to have to do something. But for instance, I can go into task definition. And there I have it. And so we have the upfront stuff, and then we go on to the spec, etc. Now I think that is auto-generated, so it will always be up to date. It has that advantage. But to me, I think somebody who's trying to create one of these things is going to find this more useful. But we will have that discussion, so if you have opinions. Does this make sense to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think
So let us know how it works. There's a few things left. A bunch of the stuff that used to be in tasks and concepts is gone. And some of the stuff that is there needs to go. And of course, we need a lot more material in here. But there is some progress happening at last. The other one, to give everybody a heads up, is that we have a brand new issue filed and half written. We need a migration guide to get people who are running Keptn v1 and want to migrate to KLT. Going to be a process. So we're going to source this. I've got this started. I've actually just started writing up some of the first sections. Adam, I'm going to come bug you someday. I can write some of the introductory material, but I'm thinking that if we sent you out to a customer site and they wanted to migrate to KLT, you would have some idea of how you would get started. I have a guess. But my thought is that everybody knows a tiny bit right now, and if we write that down and start talking about it, that we'll have something that's better than nothing. And I have what I have started to write here. This is not going to process. We're going to assemble information here to help those who want to do this. With markets under development, I'm hoping that we'll have enough that we can publish it for 0.9. We're still waiting for 0.8, so but that's probably another month out. And we've started that. So any comments, suggestions, questions, expletives?
does not related to this. I think this is fine. Does the docs remit, or does this call cover GitHub READMEs, for example? Can we discuss GitHub
Yes,
READMEs here?
I think we can. Yes, that came up. We've actually, yeah, those READMEs are a mess.
The thing I want to bring up is sort of related to this, but we're putting focus on migrating to the lifecycle toolkit. But actually, if you go on the main README for the lifecycle toolkit itself, the status of things are still in alpha and beta,
And Giovanni says that's actually true. He gave else the alphas beta as soon as one feature is added or something, but apparently those statuses are actually accurate.
so
We
sorry,
and
Meg, you dropped out there. Could you try that again?
I wonder why I'm dropping out. Maybe
I'm
my
going to try and
headset.
turn the camera off, maybe.
No, I don't know. I think it's probably at my end. Maybe I will turn my camera off. And see if that's the problem. Yeah, those statuses, Giovanni said those are accurate. The installation, and that has installation information there that I'm about to do a PR to delete that and point then say if, for installation instructions, go to the installation on the docs. And then we've got that obsolete architecture information that Amisha is working on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it did come up in another meeting earlier this week. I forget which one. But that a whole bunch of the READMEs are out of date, inappropriate, etc. And I've actually got a PR out there that takes the material from OpenTelemetry and moves most of it into the OpenTelemetry chapter under integrating.
So I think for me, coming back to the migrating to the toolkit discussion, one of the and I'll raise this on the issue as a comment. Of course, if I was actually wanting to migrate to the toolkit, I would want to know when, because version 1 is stable. It is in long-term support. So from the outside, I'm thinking, okay, well, version 1's nice and stable. The toolkit is still experimental or alpha, beta, whatever word you want to use. That's not necessarily an issue, but I would like to know as an adopter when or what the criteria are for moving up, so that I can then guess or have an educated guess as to when I can adopt the toolkit. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes perfect sense. And
So
because I think if I understand, and this is not, but I think what the governance board is hoping is that in 6 months, 3 to 6 months, that we have a stable product. That if does that mean they're going to make it an LTS? I don't know.
Yeah.
May not be, I mean, we may still go on and add features, but that we will quit having breaking features every month.
I think as a good start, just getting the being transparent about when something moves from alpha to beta to stable
right.
or not, why does it move? And then users or potential users or adopters can at least make an informed decision about how far away it is, because it might be still in beta, but it's only, one tiny little thing away, and having that in docs would actually help adoption and help the migration.
Right. I agree. Yeah, because I mean, if I'm interested in it, I'm probably going to play with it for a few months before I even think about going near my production system with it. So if we're 3 to 6 months from something stable, then maybe. And there's a couple of big features that I half understand, but that are under development right now that I think are considered crucial. One of them is the ability to write the code for tasks in Python. And maybe some other languages. The other is the container which, as I understand it, is going to be kind of like JES was for Keptn before. That my Keptn app can include this container and I can run anything I want to in it.
Yeah.
And so those two features, yeah, there's some big features that are close, I think.
Yeah.
And those will make a difference. And what I'm hoping is, I mean, migration, unless you got a simple migration that you can create a wizard that just does it for you. And that means two products that are very similar that just map. It's going to be primarily a documentation thing, but as we work through that, we learn something. That's sort of my hope and expectation. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think version 1, as we're calling it, and the lifecycle toolkit are a 1-for-1. I don't think the audience is the same.
No.
But there will be an audience using V1 that could use the toolkit very, very honestly and convincingly.
Yes.
But I don't think, no, it's not just like an upgrade. It is it's a shift in methodology.
Right, and that's why the first thing I'm going to write up, I'm going to take, I love Andy's, for the first half of Andy's presentation from Pakistan. I think it's the most coherent explanation of Keptn versus KLT that I've seen. So I'm going to write that up. I'll give them a link to the video if they want to see that. But to first say that, and because what I see too is that there's a certain number of people who are running V1 and it's starting to get really tough because their world is getting more GetOpsy and people are doing their own services, not part of the monolithic repo where everything is. So it will be, they will be moving up and they want to change their paradigm as well. But then, like somebody said to me yesterday, well, quality gates don't work. And it's like, yeah, all the fancy calculations you get with quality gates are not supported. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are probably using quality gates just as very simple evaluations. So,
Yeah.
we can tell them, simple, you can do simple evaluations, you can do your metrics, and this sort of stuff. You'll be top of my reviewer list. You know that, Adam, on all this all the way.
I haven't seen a discussion on GitHub, or maybe I've missed it, about going back to what you said about the Python, for example. Where's the discussion that that is, because that to me is a feature. We could, in theory, one argument is, well, you can go to a version 1 release of KLT, have it stable without Python at all. It's a feature that has to be developed over time.
True.
But so where was that decided that was a blocker for LTS?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, I think process-wise, I think there's a question. I think what happened was at the KubeCon in Vancouver, I think they got hammered by people who wanted to do this stuff in Python.
Yeah.
Not JavaScript.
But
So,
I think just I mean, I'm not saying anything's wrong or right. It's just the way it is. But it all goes into the migration guide, because actually discussing that on the documentation might actually encourage people to migrate if they say, well, it is stable as long as you don't need Python.
Right.
Because you can write it in TypeScript. So you can make the argument it isn't an alpha or beta, it's actually stable now because it's in TypeScript. If you're judging it by some other metric, like can it do Java or Python, well no, it's forever going to be unstable.
Until
that functionality is there. But
yeah, and then somebody's going to want C++ or C# or C, or let's do assembler. Yeah, good question. I'm going to ask Giovanni, because it may be that there are meetings where this is being discussed and I don't make all the meetings and I don't watch all the recordings. But what is the process?
Happy to realize that I'm missing a lot of it, being on this side of the world and being asleep when half of this happens.
Right. But yeah, and I think there are small, and that, when you have you have really smart people who like have small discussions in the hallway, or they go to a conference and then over dinner and drinks, decide, oh, we need to do that. That's not a terrible thing, but it's not a great process and it's not real open. So, I mean, I know once they decide that something is a priority, then it goes through the refinement meetings, and those are public, and there's where they discuss the actual implementation. But let me ask Giovanni if we can get more clarity on that. So, yeah, because I was surprised. I thought the cert manager was really stable, and that's not marked as, I think that might be marked as beta in the README. Because that's the other thing I don't know is where do I go to quickly see a list of the reason something is considered alpha or beta?
That's based. Yes, exactly. That's pretty much a much easier, better way of saying what I was trying to waffle on and say earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because we have the known limitations lists. And if there's anything, it's in the release notes. But if there was a limitation in 0.6, say, that isn't fixed by 0.7, the 0.7 list isn't going to include it. But, or even if it did, I mean, you know, oh God, and I hate doing this kind of doc, but where you have your known limitations, and then with a new release, this is fixed, this is fixed, this is still there.
Well, I think
Okay.
if we got the reasons down on paper, that so the why something moves from one state to the other, it actually it could, you could make the argument that that whole discussion goes away, because kind of unless it's announced in a release, by default it stays as the current state it's in, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because I know that this condition hasn't been met, and therefore I can just assume it's still in alpha. Whereas if I can look at the Keptn roadmap and see, by the next release version, we will get this this functionality or this improvement, and that by its nature of being there and on the roadmap, and I can see that next month, I know KLT will go to beta or the cert manager will go. So I can actually, it's removing a lot of the work from the maintainers, because as a member of the public or someone evaluating the project, I can see that, I can do that maths myself.
Right. But another thing to think is like, okay, if we release 0.8.0, you know, which I think is coming soon, and we put out the release notes and I come in and that's the first release I do, am I expected to read the release notes for all the previous releases to know of any flaws that there might be? Any known bugs, etc.
Yeah.
Kind of, at the very least, it seems like this release's release note should include a list of known limitations and when they were first involved in anything about when we. Well, there is the roadmap, but I don't know if the roadmap is going to make it clear, you know, that this feature is coming in at this release, and that will make the cert manager stable or something. Good questions, of course.
I think if you were a brand new user though, and you came in at version 0.8 or whatever, you wouldn't necessarily care what went before.
Exactly. Well, unless it's still there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If it was
known issues, I guess. Yeah.
If the release notes from 060 talk about you know, that this has these limitations and this is what you do about it, and it hasn't been fixed by 0.8, I kind of think it should be in the carried forward to the 0.8 release notes.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because otherwise you'd be blind and you'd have to go digging.
Right. Where do I look for known limitations? Are you hearing from anybody yet who's making noises about wanting to port onto KLT? Or if they're doing KLT, are they just starting from raw?
There are
Um,
1 to 2 folks who want to get started.
Want to get started. Have you tried, for people who want to get started, I'd really like to hear if those getting started guides work for them.
Sure.
Because there's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of things that there were 3 ways to do them, and I need other people's eyes on these things to say that worked and that didn't. So
Sure, definitely. We'll let you know about that.
okay, because one thing we're trying to do, one of the things that happened with Keptn V1 is instead of getting started guides, we had all these tutorials, most of which were obsolete. They didn't get maintained and stuff, but they had information in them that weren't in the docs anyplace else. So we had people who never looked at the docs. They just worked from the getting started from these tutorials and with all sorts of problems. So we decided, but we also don't want to duplicate. I mean, we don't want 20 sets of installation instructions. So the getting started guides that, the step 1 is go to the installation documentation and follow those instructions to install, which is a little less handy for the users. But if we only have one place where we have those instructions, we keep them up to date.
Getting.
So Yash, when we get your PRs, what do you want to go forward and do some more of these contributing
Definitely.
guides, or are you getting anxious to do something meatier?
Sure. Definitely. Would like to contribute to the migration doc also, the KTL one. Because Amisha had talked to me, and she told that if you are busy working with contributing guide, then I can work on it, and if you are able, then you go further, you proceed it with the given issue.
Okay. And that is one of the advantages of breaking this up into small pieces, is that multiple people can do different pieces too. So you're doing great work. If you want to keep forward with that, that's fine. But if you want to get into something meatier, that's fine too.
Sure, definitely.
So yeah, look around and see what's there.
Yash, have you added yourself as a member to the Keptn organization? Have you actually kind of got on the contributors ladder and things?
I have been contributing, but I have not applied for the member post, basically.
I'd certainly sponsor you if you wanted to do that.
Doesn't he have to have one PR that's been merged at least?
No, these are the first 3 PRs that I have made till now. So after completing the whole contributing guide, I can apply for the member position, and I can talk to you on that further also.
Gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah, but I'm with Adam. Anytime you want to go for it, I'm happy to sponsor also.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, definitely I will talk to you about it in future. Sure.
Cool. Are you done with your school for the year, by the way?
Yes. Now I am in my summer break. Basically, done with my exams.
Great. And I assume you did brilliantly on your exams?
Yes, definitely. Yes, it went well.
I don't, any
did
of
you get the
our
results
students
back?
who are here, I don't think are worried about passing their classes. I think you guys are all the top, so.
Definitely.
Okay, does anybody else have anything they would like to discuss, or should we call this a meeting?
No, I'm perfectly happy. Thank you again, Meg, for hosting.
Oh, and thank you all for attending. Thank you for your PRs, Yash, and we're gonna get those merged and move on.
Sure, ma'am. Sure, definitely.
Okay, well,
We'll keep
everybody
on
have
contributing.
a great week, and we'll talk next week.
Sure.
Nice
You
one.
know where I am in the meantime. Bye.
Yes. Bye,
Bye.
ma'am. Bye, madam.
Uh,
Bye.